Hello, welcome to Patrice's Projects. I really wasn't planning this project today, but since I was saving seeds from my green bunching onions, I thought, why not? That's a good thing to do. So anyway, this is them right behind me here. You see all these flower heads. I planted these green onions last year in the spring, and I thought, they'd grow up. I'd harvest them before the tomatoes, which I do grow my tomatoes, as you see right back there, in the back part of my bed, because this is south facing and that's north facing, so I don't want them to grow up and block all the light. I have harvested off of these green onions many times. Sometimes I'll just cut the whole thing back to the what is that called when you cut and grow again? So anyway, I've done that a few times on some of them. I also just harvest the individual leaves. But over the winter, they just got really big, and I didn't need that. I mean, I have pulled some out. But when they started to bolt, I thought, I could use some new seed. So, and also, I like to share seeds and Ray's seed swap. Ray from Praxis 55712. In November, he does a seed swap. And I thought, oh, that would be a good thing. That's an easy one to share seeds. So let me show you what they look like when they're bolting, when they're just starting to set up the flower head, when they're in bloom. Some strange things that are happening to a few of mine, and I'm letting them just grow to see what happens with them. Also, when they're between flowering and ready to harvest, so it's like a juvenile stage, and then also during the time when they're ready to harvest the seeds. You really do want to harvest them before the seeds drop back into the garden, because otherwise you can end up with a lot of onions in your garden. So let's take a closer look. This is what one of the seed pods looks like when it's first starting to bolt, basically, because that's what's happening here. These are green bunching onions, so they had grown. I had cut them back a few times, and I've gotten lots off of these plants, but they just kept trying to bolt, and I just went ahead and let them, because I thought, why not save some seeds and share? This one is in the flowering stage right here. They don't get little blossoms on them. The regular onions do, but you can see on this all the little pollen, what are they called? Is it stamen? I think so. Anyway, you can see all the little pollen heads on there. And this one is still blooming, and the bees will come and pollinate this. And this one is in the juvenile stage, where all the pollen tips have dried up, and it's not really little flowers, but the little pods around each seed. You start out with one big pod, and then it opens up and you get a blossom head. And then you end up with something like this. And you see on this, these still have the green around the seed areas. Each little one of these green things will have 1 to 5. I found 6 actually seeds in one, and that was amazing. Usually you get 3 though. And let's see if my shadow helps any to focus in. See, you can see what I'm talking about. So you still see a lot of green in there, and those you can pick the seeds out, but I don't think that they're quite viable yet. And I see that it has already released some seeds, but you can see the seeds inside of those ones. They're right in the middle. I don't have enough hands to point at it, but right there in the middle you see little seeds sticking out. And this one was hanging downward like this in the garden, and I'm going to try and shadow that. If you tap it, sometimes you'll get little seeds to fall out. Yesterday was a windy day, so I guess anything falling out would have already done that. But these were ready to fall in the garden, and I don't want these plants there anymore. That's not a good location, so I need to make sure I take all of these out. This is a strange thing that happened. Now, this is not how the flower head is supposed to come out looking. I have no idea what this is about. So anyway, that's what they look like when they're in bloom, and they will drop seeds all over your garden, and they will grow. So you want to make sure that you get those out before they start growing. Here's another one of those strange ones. Isn't that weird? Today is getting really warm out. We've had some crazy weather. Yesterday was 67 at the high, or maybe even less, 66 possibly. And today is like 77 out there, and then tomorrow's going to be, I think it said 87, and then 90, and then 95. Crazy weather. So my plants outside are just going crazy. But I had harvested a bunch of the bunching onion heads. Like, okay, here's one. I had to pick it up really carefully. If you can see all those seeds in there. This one I had harvested a couple days ago because I saw that it was starting to show a lot of seeds at the top. And then now it's showing even more. So this one's very much ready to harvest the seeds. And I had harvested several of the heads because I saw some seeds at the top when we're supposed to have some wind. And I don't want the onions at the same place again next year or the year after. So I know I'm going to have some seeds out there, but I'm trying to minimize it by getting these heads off. I don't know why I saved so many. That's kind of crazy. So let's get started on harvesting the onion seeds. And someone, I can't remember what her name is or her channel's name, but I'll post it right here. And she had a method that's just so easy that I don't know why I didn't think of it. Probably because it's too easy. I don't like to do things the hard way, I just do. So anyway, let's get harvesting some seeds. Okay, here are just a few that I picked today. Well, actually this one I didn't do today. But you can see they're just falling out. And that would have been all over in my garden. And yeah, totally ready to harvest. And this one was actually hanging upside down in the garden. So I know that well, actually it was hanging over the side of the garden. So I'm going to have it in my walkway. Anyway, look at this. And there's still more out there. There's no way I need that many. There's one that I harvested the day that I did the other part of the video. And it was starting to show some seeds, but now it's just pouring out. And you can see just, that's like enough for your entire year's worth of bunching onions. Because it's not just one seed in each little flower. Let me take this one off. I can see several seeds in there. And let's count them. Oh. Trying to pull it off without losing any more of the seeds. So, in this one are 5 seeds. There's 5 there. So, that would be at least a couple hundred seeds that are ready to go. So, what she did is she took a mason jar. And this one's a spaghetti jar, but close enough, except that it won't fit this in there. Let's find a smaller one that's ready. Okay, this one that was just crazy ready. And then she put the head in there. Normally they're not going to be quite that ready. And she just shook it around. That's the easiest, cleanest, fastest method that I have seen. Only a few are jumping out because I didn't cut my stem long enough. You'll want to cut your stem about maybe 6 inches so you have a little handle to hold on to. And by doing that, all of the looser seeds have come out. Now, the method that I had previously used was something more like, and this works really well to get even more seeds out. You can see some are still falling. And then, see, this is nice and clean. You have hardly anything in there other than the seeds. But if you want to get thorough, you can rub it. But here the problem is you get a lot more of the flower debris in there. But you get more of the seeds if you destroy it like that. So, still, you're not going to get every seed, but with even just one of these heads, that's enough for one person. If you don't want all of this junk in your seeds, the seeds are heavier than the junk. So you would take something like, I have all of these things in this little tray for, like for under a plant. And so all of the stuff, I had pulled some of these off of some of the heads out there that weren't quite ready, and you can totally do that. If you see some seeds sitting in the top of one of them, but the rest isn't ready yet, you can just pull the center ones, wherever you see a lot of seeds showing, out, and then put them into a tray and just tap them right out. But anyway, if you were to put all of this stuff into here and bring it outside and blow in it, and I'm not going to blow in it because I'm in my house, most of the loose stuff will blow away, and as long as you're not blowing too hard, the seeds will stay put. One thing that you might want to do if you're going to be using the tapping method is get a bowl. This is actually from a cake, my birthday cake this past birthday in January. But so that the seeds don't fly all over the place, you might want to, there, that one's one I already tapped. Oh, there goes a little spider. But that way you don't have to worry as much. If you have a nice deep bowl, you can even pound it on the side. So it's kind of like between my method and the jar method. And see how nice and clean all of that is? And that's just from this onion. The other one just had a couple seeds left in it. So that's how I do it. So there's one more thing about seed saving. You don't want to close your jar up if you use the jar method and put them away that way, because there's a good chance they're going to start molding, especially if you have a lot of seeds in there. When you first harvest the seeds, no matter if they're onion seeds, radish seeds, pea seeds, bean seeds, most likely they're not going to be completely dry, because like I showed you, when I'm harvesting these heads, one just fell on me, you're going to harvest them before all of the seeds are ready to pop out, and even if they are all showing, they may still not be ready or completely dry. So what you want to do is, I'm going to spread mine out inside my cake thing, and that way I have a thinner layer. I mean, if they're up in a jar this high, they're not going to have the air circulation to dry properly, so most likely you're going to get some spoilage, rot in the middle. So spread them out, put them in a area that doesn't get direct sun, because straight sunshine can destroy some of the seeds, and just leave them out. The bigger the seed, the longer. With something like this, I would say a week. With beans, probably 2 weeks. But you want to have them at a dry location, and if you have really high humidity, you probably want to dry them somewhere indoors, like in the garage maybe or something, where there's less humidity, and go ahead and store them in a cool, dry place after they're dry. So I wasn't going to demonstrate the winnowing, but I had to do it anyway because I had all this junk in my seeds. And the bigger stuff like this, you can just take out by hand and get rid of, and then you're ready to winnow. So what you do, you kind of spread it out, and the larger seeds will stay put, and you'll lose a little bit, but overall the chaff will blow away. Also, you can see the wind is taking some of it, and in like those commercials and stuff where they show them using a basket to winnow, what they're doing is they're tossing it up, and the wind takes away all the light stuff that you don't need. Or you can use a blanket or something like that, but with a small amount like this, it's easier just to blow it out. And you just move it around. Don't blow too hard or you blow all the seed off. Also, a lot of the seed that is no good, that's empty, is going to blow away as well. So, After that bit of blowing, I'm left with this. And that has a little bit of debris in there, but it's plenty fine to be able to put away. So that's how you winnow. Thank you for watching my video. I do appreciate it. If you haven't yet subscribed to my channel, go ahead and do that now. It might be down there, there, I don't know. Anyway, find it and subscribe. And if you like the video, give me a thumbs up. I'd appreciate that. And go ahead and check out Ray's channel. And like I said, I'm going to post his Facebook link in my comments down below. And I hope to see you there in November. And maybe you can get some of these seeds. I'll see you then. Bye.